Hello to Monday's coaching session, which is actually early because Tofu started limping. So Tofu is my dog, and he started limping today. So I've managed to book an appointment, and the only slot was 4:30. So we're taking him to the vets to see what is happening with this limp, and so these sessions are usually done at 5, so there was no way I was going to make it back from a 4:30 appointment. So that's why I'm going live, and I don't like to miss giving these sessions unless I have to or when I'm on holiday. Welcome to today's session, and I hope you've had a lovely weekend. I did. I went to try on dresses for the first time, and that was quite a nice experience. And for those of you who haven't gone to try dresses yet, then that's definitely something to get excited about because it was pretty fun and a bit daunting. Like literally, just like loads of dresses. You're just like looking at the hangers. You're like, yeah, okay, why not? Just try it. And because I went in with an open mind, like I was just like, yeah, I've got a Pinterest board, right? Because who doesn't? In my Pinterest board, the one with wedding dresses, there's like maybe like 2 or 3, right? And so I just went in there with an open mind, going, okay, fine, I'll just like try on everything. And my mum, my sister-in-law, and my real sister came, and they came and they picked out a couple of dresses for me to try on. In the end, I think I tried on 10, and so tried on quite a lot, and I even tried on some Chinese dresses because this bridal shop also had Chinese dresses because the lady, the owner of the boutique, was also Chinese, is Chinese, and so when she came to get married, she was actually really struggling to find dresses, the Chinese style dresses, because you wear a Chinese dress when you do like sort of the tea ceremony side of the Chinese traditions of getting married, and so we did both, and so I've got a pretty good idea of the dresses I definitely don't like and the dresses I kind of like in the style. So that's really good. And I've got 2 appointments on Friday, and I've got 2 appointments on Saturday. And so a couple of friends are coming up to come with me, so it's going to be really fun, and because I definitely know what kind of styles I do like now. It's just sort of, I guess, narrowing it down and trying lots of different styles of that style, if you see what I mean. And so yeah, definitely go in with an open mind if you are going to try on dresses, because I was thinking that I really liked the ones with lots of layers on. And then when I came to try it on, I was like, oh, it's really heavy. Which I guess, like in my head, I was thinking maybe it's like it would be a lot lighter, because these days dresses are a lot lighter, even with a lot of fabric. But it was just so heavy, and the one that I tried on with lots of layers was made out of like horsehair as well, which I did not know that they did. And it was just so like enormous, and I was like, there's just no way that I can even like dance with that. And I don't want to spend more money on like an evening dress. Like, if I'm going to spend that much money on a wedding dress, I'm just going to wear it the whole bloody day. Where I'm not going to buy another dress to then like change into, and it's not one of the ones where you can just like clip on or clip off. It's not like one of those. It was like a whole full piece, so it wasn't going to come off. So I just don't think that, unless it did that, I just don't think I would just sort of go for that style, even though it looked really cool and looked really nice. So that's sort of my my first wedding dress experience. I hope you guys have had a good one, if you have had yours already. And And so obviously love to hear if you found your dream wedding dress. Let me know. Always love to hear. Is there anyone on live? If there is anybody on live, which there isn't, I can't, because it's not my usual time anyways to go live. So I don't think anybody's going to be in here. So I'm just going to like carry on, pretend that there is someone watching, because I'm sure you guys do watch these on replay. And so what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so when I was trying on dresses, like it was like the final two that I really liked the style of, and then my sister-in-law, she said, "Oh, I didn't know, like you've got such a nice bum." I'm like, she's like, "Oh, I didn't know whether to say it or not," and I'm like, "Yeah, I want to hear that because I have worked bloody hard to get a butt like the way that it looks right now," and so yeah, I was like, yeah, definitely tell me. Of course I want to hear that. And so, you know, I have just worked so hard on my physique and to get it looking the way that it is after, you know, so many years. And it's hard. It takes so much work, right? And, you know, I was just thinking about like the pain and the hard work from doing so much glute training. And it's just been so worth it because I really do love how my butt's been looking, especially lately. I've just really increased my glute training more recently, and I really feel like it's kind of like it's really sort of taking shape and taking form. And so you know, I just also want to say that, like, you know, even though I am at a space where I'm really happy with the way that my body looks and I've never been sort of happier, I'm not just going to be like, okay, fuck it now. I'm just going to sit here and just like eat what the fuck I want, right? No, like there's so much more to weight loss, and there's so much more to your weight loss journey and your physique transformation journey. I just want to say that, like, even if you have reached your goal and you suddenly go back into that mindset where you can just eat what you want, you clearly have not realize how much or what it really means to you. And maybe you were doing it not just for, not like, because, you know, obviously we all want to look good in the on our wedding day. We all want to look good, you know, in that dress, but there's supposed to be, there should be so much more to it than that. And if you're then stepping back into that space where you're thinking, I'm just doing this for the wedding, I'm just doing this just to look good for the dress, then I want you to rethink your mindset, because what will end up happening if you do have that mindset is that you'll end up sort of probably going back to where you started. But when you do reach your goal of, like, you know, the wedding has happened and and that was your goal, what's going to happen, right? You're just going to fall back into old habits, okay? And old habits are hard to kick unless you have so much more reason, okay, to carry on looking after yourself and looking after your health and well-being, okay? And so that's why even though I am happy, you know, if I had to get married tomorrow, I would be 100% happy in any sort of more or less any dress, really. And that's because I have worked hard and I'm continuing to work hard, even though my wedding is still not till next year. And so I want you guys to sort of have that kind of mindset too. So, which is obviously one of the reasons why I do these sessions. And I really hope that these sessions are for you to help you get your mindset in a helpful space. You know, it's like, when I say helpful, I mean a space where it's, you know, it's helpful so that when you do hit those difficult times, you know, like when you get your period, or, you know, for example, when your children get sick and you're just like giving all your energy to them, or, you know, or just maybe you're having like a really stressful time with work or something, and all you want to do is just sit on the sofa and relax. And those were what I mean by difficult times, okay? You have to have your mindset in a helpful space, okay, so that you can continue to train consistently and eat according to your meal plans or your plan, even during times of difficult times. So, and yeah, so it's just so important that you have a really good reason, right, to get yourself out of this, like, I guess you could call it like a self-limiting space, right? You're limiting your possibilities, your opportunities, okay? And, you know, and the more you educate yourself and tune into these videos, or not just these videos, but even just educating yourself elsewhere, right? The more that you understand and the more reason you have behind every single one of your decisions, you know, the more likely you will take action. And it's just about taking action, okay, most of the time. If you still haven't subscribed or tuned into my podcast, which is now live, then do so, because it's just such a simple way and simple and convenient way to get some clarity and mindset-driven strategies, okay, to help you zip up the dress without the stress, okay? And so not only can you watch me here, you can listen to me when you drive, when you do the house chores, walk your dog, you know, if you want to just drown out your kids, because, like, you know, those are the times that I listen to my podcast, when I'm walking my dog, when I'm doing the washing up, or doing even some meal prep. That's the times that I listen to a lot of my podcasts, or yeah, and for long drives as well. So and of course, I would love your support if you do love your support as a subscribing as a way of your support, because you know, if you know, by tuning in, hopefully you'll get some valuable, I know you'll get some valuable content out of it. And you know, and the more you guys tune into my podcast, and if you can give it a review, rate it, because, you know, that means that the more likelihood of the podcast being visible to other brides, you know, because there are just so many bloody podcasts about wedding planning, right? And like, when I was like searching and Googling, I'm thinking podcast for brides, and it was like all for wedding planning, and none to teach you how to build your dream body alongside planning, or building your planning your dream wedding. Okay, so this is what my podcast is about, really. It's about teaching you a way to build your dream body alongside planning your dream wedding. So tune in so you don't miss a show. And we've got some new members. I just added them in today. I'm just going to give some new member shout outs. So I think, so Karen, welcome to the group. Shannon, Elizabeth, Hannah, and Leanne Harper. We've got another Leanne in, so this is Leanne Harper. So welcome ladies. It's great to have you here. And I'm going to do a bit of an introduction for myself, because I always like to do that when we have new members. So my name is Zoe, and I help brides make a physique transformation a reality for the big day and beyond. I'm a yoga teacher, a former pure gym instructor, ex-chef tutor at the School of Rock London, turned strength and physique coach. I'm getting married in July 2022. I am dress fitting ready, and I'm here to help you get there too. So without further ado, today's coaching session is about things that are holding you back, that are holding you back from creating the dream body and the lifestyle that you desire and deserve. And so why am I talking about this topic? So I am going to tell you a bit about I'm going to tell you a bit about my life. I'm going to do a bit of story here. Before I do that, I'm just going to pour me some water. So my throat is really dry today, and I feel like I'm talking really, really fast. And I'm like, take deep breath. I just don't want to make. I just want to make sure. Oh my gosh, yeah. So I need to talk quite fast, because we need to leave soon to get to the vet appointment on time. So let me tell you, okay. So I have always been someone who is able to end friendships pretty quickly. And I remember when I was back in middle school, or maybe what you call primary school, and I had this best friend, but then I felt like I no longer was connecting with this best friend at the time anymore. And looking back, it was probably because I was developing or maturing a lot faster or at a different level of rate than her, because I hit puberty at 10. And so I guess my emotional maturity really developed a lot faster than a lot of my other friends. And so that best friend of mine, I just decided that it was just time to move on. And I guess, like, I probably just didn't go away like the right way around it, being, I guess, a teenager at the time, or at that adolescent age, not even adolescent, right? It's like, I don't know, yeah, 11 or something. And so I decided one day that I was going to start hanging around some other friends, and of course this upset her. And I can't even remember how I even broke the news to her. Maybe I just like decided to just not speak to her, and then like made some new friends. I literally honestly can't remember, but she was pretty miffed, and I must have really upset her, because I then started obviously high school at some point, or secondary school as you call it, and I made lots of new friends, and I had so many different social groups anyways, because I'm that type of person that gets on well with lots of people. I'm just like, so I just like to talk and talk, and I kind of like, it's easy for me to kind of build rapport with people, because I generally like people, right? And which is really funny, because I was one of the only like few Chinese girls or Chinese people at the school, so it's not like I wasn't super popular, but at the same time I was like very sociable, so that meant I had lots of friendship groups. And when I started my GCSEs, they obviously then put you into new classes, because you've chosen your subjects, and you have to then go into different classes. And so I made like lots of new other friendship groups. And then in my art class, right, I had met some friends, and then later down the line, I can't remember when, they told me that this friend, my ex best friend from like primary school, like from like, I don't know, like 3 years ago, they told me a story that she told them about me. And she said to them that I had spilt coffee on her mum when I came round to her house one day, which is just absolute bollocks, and it didn't happen. Okay. And I was like, why would she lie about that? Like, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I must have really upset her, for her to like hold all of that anger inside of her, and then for her to like make up lies to like new people like in high school, and start like spreading rumors that I was like a bitch or a horrible person. And it's like, and even though it was like 2-3 years ago, right? And so obviously this made me laugh, but obviously, a little angry, and, a little bit sad that she felt like she had to do that. And I just, in looking back, I do feel really bad. But obviously, when you're that age, you just brush things off. You don't really think that much about it. And so I do feel sorry. And so, expanding. So I've just never been afraid to expand my friendships, and to then like, just, I guess you could say, like, cut people off. Okay, so it doesn't make me sound like a nice person, but honestly, I am a really nice person. And then on a separate occasion, I when I was 22, I fell really ill with meningitis. It's called cryptococcal meningitis, and I'm lucky to be here. If I'm really honest with you, I'm really lucky to be here. And I'm surprised there's like no permanent brain damage up in here. I mean, maybe there is, I don't know. And I didn't want to make a big deal of it at that time. And so I didn't tell my friends. Well, firstly, I didn't have my phone. And firstly, I was like, so ill, can you even use my phone? And then later on, it turns out that, oh yeah. And so when like the ambulance, like they took my glasses off me, because back then I wore glasses, and so I had no glasses because they never gave them back to me. And then it turns out that I, because of the meningitis and the pressure of the fluid, the CSF fluid in my brain, it was pressing on the meninges within my brain, and that caused my eyes to go. What is it called? To squint. It went my squint, and so even if I could look at my phone, wasn't able to. I was like, it's like, this is like, I can't read this. But anyways, I didn't want to tell my friends, but some of my friends got wind of it, And so they did, when I say got wind, probably Alan told them. And so like lots of friends came to visit me, and I wasn't even expecting them to. And that was just so nice. You know, I guess you know who your friends are, you know, when they make the effort. And so, but then there was this like one particular friend who actually, no, I don't want to divulge too much details. So there was one actual friend who didn't come and visit me, and I just didn't like mind at that point. And to be fair, she wasn't the only one. They weren't the only one, okay, but that wasn't the point. So what the point is that after I came out of the hospital, obviously I was still recovering, and I met up with some friends, and they told me that this friend who didn't come visit me had told them of this rumor that I had like slept with this guy that I hadn't slept with. And I was just like, why is she talking about like making up rumors, but then like, why is she talking about this stuff when like I'm just like, when it's just not very nice. I'm like still recovering. I was like, just came out of hospital after like nearly dying, because that's literally what happened, right? And I was thinking like, that's not okay. And so I just decided at that point that I just didn't want to be friends with her, regardless of whether, even though we had like so many mutual friends, right? And so, you know, it's not okay. It's absolutely like not okay, whatever the situation was, right? And I have a feeling that, you know, I don't know the reasons why she even made that story up, but because I've never really asked her, because I just obviously cut ties with her, and so I say cut ties, but I was just very civil. You know, I decided to not invite her to any of our to any of the things that I was organising. She wasn't invited, which is, you know, serves her right. But nowadays, you know, I'm just very, very civil to her, because I mean, you know, once in a blue moon we might see each other in mutual gatherings, but that's it. And I'm just very civil. And so like, I think maybe her excuse, like looking back on it also, as to why she maybe didn't visit me, even though she was only down the road, literally from the hospital, like that I was like staying at, literally down the road. So she really didn't have an excuse. But I think her excuse was because her mum told her not to, probably, or because of superstitious reasons, because it's like bad luck if you go visit someone who's unwell, because it might rub off on you or whatever, you know. And I was just thinking, if that was the situation, because that's what a lot of my friends, our mutual friends, had told me, that's maybe the reason why she didn't visit, right? Because her mum told her not to. I'm like, if you don't have the spine or the courage to just like tell your mum to like to just say no to that, to just be like, no, she's the friend, I'm just going to go visit her, I don't care about like if it rubs off on me badly. Like, how selfish is that, if that was the reason? And so I was like, well, if that's the reason, even more reason for me not to be friends with her, because I don't want someone who just thinks about themselves first. Like, absolutely not. And so yeah, so I made a very good point, or a matter of fact, that I decided I just didn't want her in my friendship group. And so I have always stood up for myself. I've always not been afraid to stand up myself. I probably was, and I was an absolute nightmare for my mum, I'm sure, 100% growing up. I probably made her life so difficult, always giving this, right? Standing up for myself. I wasn't afraid to start arguments. I wasn't afraid to cause confrontation, not for no reason, but, you know, it was for a reason. And so, you know, I understand that that not everyone is like this. You know, people don't like to have confrontations, and people don't like to like have arguments and things like that. And not everyone is like me, and I'm not trying to say that, and that's how you should be. But what I am trying to make the point of, right, is that you know, there's this phrase, people are in your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime, okay? And so I want you to think about that. Like, I want you to think about, are there any relationships that could be holding you back, okay, from creating your dream body, your dream lifestyle, okay, that you desire and you deserve? Because you absolutely do deserve it, okay? Because if you have relationships that are toxic, and by toxic I mean like that making you feel miserable, they drain your energy, because maybe all they talk about is themselves, and all they worry about is themselves, and maybe they just are not giving anything back to you, because there are so many of those types of relationships, okay? There are those, Or maybe, you have friendships where, you hang out, and even though it's not toxic as such, but just you hang out in these friendship groups where all you do is like indulge, okay, drink lots of alcohol, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I guess you could say there's a time and a place, and there's a reason, right? And if your reason, right, is that you want to, have that dream body, you want to get into shape for your wedding, you want to build, you want to make a physique transformation, going out regularly to, oh no, going out, sorry about that, hopefully you didn't hear that, going out regularly to, with your friends, your main friendship group, to go out drinking a lot, and to not even maybe drinking a lot, if you just drink like a couple of glasses, that is enough to get in your way of your consistent training, of your consistent eating, etc. Okay, and overindulging. And if that's like the kind of friendship group that you have, and that's all you do, you need to understand that maybe it's time to distance yourself from those types of friends just for a moment, until you sort of, so that you can get to where you want to be. Because if you continue to put yourself in those situations where you are overindulging and you are drinking alcohol on a regular basis, that is going to impinge on you being able to do the hard stuff day in, day out. Okay, and I'm not saying you should just like cut them off, like full stop, not like the situations where I talked about in my past. Okay, but ask yourself, like, is it possible to distance yourself from those situations? And or maybe you can introduce new situations to that friendship group where you go like, guys, can we instead like just do this? I'd love to hang out and I want to stop that, but I'm really trying to do this as part of my my goal, and I really want your support, so maybe can we just like decide to cook something healthy together, and drink like, I don't know, water. Okay, no, like non-alcoholic drinks or whatever, or something that's like not sugary. Okay, and so there's not alcoholic, and so like and ask yourself whether you can do that. And I know it's hard, I know it's hard. Okay, but I call this like pleasantly distancing yourself. Okay, and especially from people who are just not willing to support you in the way that you need them to right now. Okay, and you have to understand that no one has to do that for you. No one is obliged to do that for you. It is your responsibility to put yourself in situations and to pull yourself out of them. That is your responsibility, no one else's. Okay, and so instead, if you are going to do that, instead start surrounding yourself with people who you want to be like, people who are creating a lifestyle for themselves that you wish to build, okay, for yourself. And this is why successful people hang out with other like-minded people, or people who have the same visions and the same dreams as them, okay, because it rubs off. It absolutely rubs off, and the more you hang out with people or learn from people who are doing what you want to do, and the more inspired and motivated that you will be to also do those same things, right? So you get to where you want to be. And it's kind of like the most easiest way to think about it is like, you don't go to, if you want your garden done, you don't go to, you don't call a roof fixer. And if you want your roof fixed, you don't go to a gardener. So it's kind of like that kind of very similar situation where it's like, start to surround yourself with like-minded people, and people who have already are on their way to build this kind of lifestyle that you are looking to build for yourself. Okay, and so don't be afraid to pleasantly distance yourself from those relationships that are no longer serving you. It doesn't make you a bad person, and it doesn't mean that you're using them or anything like that. Okay, it simply means that you have acknowledged that the desire to change is greater than remaining the same. And this could mean that this could mean the same thing with your relationships, that you have. If you understand that you need to change, then you must make changes within all of your lifestyle. Okay, it's not, you have to make sacrifices, and there is no way you can achieve something meaningful like a physique transformation without sacrifices. And that could be, like I say, in relationships, in monetary terms, in time, and effort and energy. Okay. And I see, and sometimes, it could be that one of the sacrifices that you have to think about is just letting go of some relationships that are no longer serving you in the way that you need to, and instead start seeking out new ones that are going to give you what you need right now in your life. Okay. And I see in the other bridal groups that I'm in, sometimes a bride will come and say, oh, their bridesmaids or some friends, they've just been making them feel like crap. They've not been helping out and doing any sort of their bridesmaid duties, and, or just like not like involving themselves and not turning up to things, right? And so if that is the case, then it's so important for you to recognize that it's just time to remove yourself away from them, even though it might be really hurtful to you and them. And it could even not just be like friends, but like maybe colleagues from work that are draining you and sucking like the life out of you for some reason, and it's burdening your energy. Okay. And your energy is so precious. It's so important. It's so important where you put your energy and who you give it to. Okay. And because you need so much energy to be able to train consistently, you need so much energy to eat according to your meal plan. Okay. You need, and that is really the only way of getting towards your dream body and into that dream dress you so badly want to look and feel confident in, is to be able to reserve enough energy for yourself to be able to do the hard things. Okay. And and so there are some people who are full of negative energy, and this is not something that you, and this is something that, as humans, we can project our energy onto a lot of other people. Okay. If, like, for example, if someone has been making you feel bad, or they have done that, in the past, made you feel ashamed about yourself for some reason, made you feel like you are unworthy, it's usually a projection of themselves. It's a projection of themselves because they're feeling unworthy. They're feeling ashamed of their own life. Okay. And, when we show anger, usually it's because we're frustrated with a situation within ourselves, and so it's far easier to project frustration through anger onto others than it is to admit and confront our own feelings and emotions. Okay. And so just understand that, if there are people who are draining negative energy on you, it's usually a reflection of themselves. And so it's time for you to say you need to give them space for them to figure out their shit. Okay. And it's not your responsibility to do that. Okay. Because you need to reserve your own energy to deal with your own shit. Okay. So, I want you to go away from this session and take some time to think about things that could be holding you back from creating your dream body, your dream lifestyle, and because you deserve that, and and it's clearly something that you desire. Each and every one of us deserves to be happy with the way that we look and what that means for our life. Okay, start questioning not just your relationships, but maybe it could be the TV shows you are watching, the movies, the types of social media you are exposing yourself to. Okay, all of those demand energy from us. I rarely watch Korean dramas anymore because they are so emotionally and energetically draining. My friend Iowa introduced me to Korean dramas back in university, and I was addicted, absolutely addicted. I ended up staying late so many times and then like falling asleep in lectures, and because I just couldn't stop for myself from watching another episode and another episode, and then I'd just be crying, and then next thing I'd be full of adrenaline, and this just would disrupt my sleep. In both quality and quantity. Okay. And so I had to make a decision to distance myself from watching them. I very much very quickly understood that it's like not okay to keep putting myself into that situation where, something as simple as entertainment is draining my energy. Okay. And it's the same when I watch Grey's Anatomy. I cry so much when I watch those shows. So I try not to watch them during times when I'm already feeling, down, or when I'm just like not in the right state of mind for it, or and I just need to be very aware that I cannot be watching more of those in sort of a big when I'm sort of having something big going on in my life, and especially when I want to achieve something important. Okay, and so we put so much stress on ourselves that we probably don't even realize through day to day, you know. And when you're in a stress state, you put yourself into this flight and flight and fight mode. Okay, and when you're in this state, it releases cortisol, and you know, and so what happens when you're watching movies and TV shows that are thrilling? They drive your emotions up and down, and they put you into this like flight or fright mode. Okay, and so that means that your cortisol levels are going to increase. And when your cortisol levels drive up and come up within your body, you know, it's so hard to, it's going to be hard for you to stay on track, because then you'll start to eat unhealthily and overindulge. That increases your likelihood of overindulging because you're stressed, or you're stress eating, or you're like, oh, I can't deal with this. So you just eat yourself with comfort. Okay. And so then you start to gain weight, and when you have cortisol within your body or high levels, you know, it increases your chance of keeping weight on the belly and storing weight on the belly. And so if you haven't watched that episode, I did do one about why it's so hard to shift belly fat. Okay, so watch that, go back to that, because I talk about that a lot more. So going back to today's topic and the final points, right? Start removing and distancing yourself from relationships, entertainment, situations that you know are going to put you in a negative energy balance, okay? And that, you know, things that are holding you back from what you need to do so that you can finally create the dream body and live the life that you want and that you deserve. I don't want you to feel like you have to just like get rid of all your friends. That's not what I'm saying. I want you to think hard about your relationships, the situations you put yourself into, and see if you can try to find ways to give yourself the right kind of energy, and to reserve your energy in the right way so that you can continue to do the hard things. If you still haven't booked a dress fitting ready call with me, then please do so, because you are every single member is entitled to one of these dress fitting ready calls, but I will highlight sort of the things that are probably killing your chances of getting dress fitting ready that you probably don't even realize. Feel free to DM me, or just use the comments, use the link that I put. I'll put it in the comments down below this link, this video, and so you can use that to book your call if you want. And so just remember that anything is possible, okay? Never give up, and consistency is key. Thank you so much for watching. I have got to shoot off because otherwise we are going to be late for our appointment. So thank you so much for watching. And if you are watching this on replay, then please use the hashtag replay so I know you have found this content useful. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.